ban, I think Dplus Kia are saying, hey, look, we don't actually want to look at a potential Ori first pick, but want to remove a Nocturne Orianna combo from LNG on the next rotation.
Yeah, wow, they're really going off the recent plays there from LNG, right down that ban list. All three of them keys that they used versus BLG. Like you're saying though, too, I'm also looking at some like just tournament-wide power picks. The Skarner has been such a big, front line for jungle right now. Really, really popular. Definitely expect that to be some early priority and really continue throughout the tournament.
All right, so alongside that Rumble, Yone, and Nocturne banned out by Dplus Kia, you can look over at LNG. You can see the Jax and the Gnar banned out there as Ziggs makes it through. This has been a priority ban so far in Worlds, and now it's picked by DK.
I was going to say both these guys are great Ziggs players as well. Gala, known as the best Ziggs in the LPL, so I was going to say you don't probably want to let that slip through. So not surprised to see Dplus Kia pick that one up very, very quickly for themselves. But it does open up ShowMaker now to have a plethora of different champions he can play in mid lane, because you can go for that AD mid with the Ziggs locked in.
All right, so we're gonna grab the early blind Renekton. Very, very good blind champion here. And then Skarner actually pairs really well with Ziggs too, so maybe you actually want to take that away earlier in the draft, since Skarner can like group people up for Ziggs ulti.
Even
We've seen that used.
VODS is very, very good. That's just that backline, hey, point and click, lock you down, but WeiWei's gonna take that one away and deny it. So maybe the Skarner is now the answer on the opposite side.
Okay, let's see how they want to go ahead and approach this one. Seeing some frontline, seeing some dive threat on the side of LNG. DK thinking about a couple of options here in the jungle. There's our favorite Scorpion hovered for a second. We'll see if they do want to make sure and lock that one in. Has been pretty high presence so far throughout the tournament. Not overwhelming, but according to the numbers I got in front of me right now, is tied for second highest presence there at 5 picks thus far. So the thing that beats it out though, right there, the Maokai also at 5 picks, but with the higher win rate, they'll lock that in on DK.
I also just think it's a strong pick into what LNG are kind of showing for the moment. You want to at least have some sort of dive potential set up with this Vi, so having that Maokai one to deny that is always great, because teams have to play into you, but it also works very well into Renekton and just keeping him in check in a lot of these fights while setting up for a very potent long-range composition, and those are two ultimates that could definitely disrupt a backline now.
Yeah.
All right, so the Smolder continues here at Worlds. Even with those nerfs, still has been performing, still has been showing up. And when you have the Vi that you talk about, it's either a, like a LeBlanc or an Ahri. It's these AP kill-oriented mid lanes, and with the hover over the LeBlanc right now, possible favor there for a scout. But again, there are multiple options that you can still run with the Vi. Lots of mid lane AP champions combine with that really successfully. So they actually drop the mid lane pick in favor of the full-on dive.
Yeah.
You get Gala's Kaisa. So that is a mega pick for Gala himself, but also with the dive that they're already showing.
And this was a pick that Gala brought out a lot in the LPL, was one of the proponents that still brought it out into the Ezreal and a lot of these picks, so not surprised to see him go back towards it, and I think it's the right call. It's still something that can do very well on the dive, but also just if you land that Void Missile, immediately jumping on towards the Ziggs, trying to burst them out, and I think trying to get rid of, or trying to find something that can support that, like a Nautilus, could work out really well here for home.
Yeah, anytime Kaisa is not going to have to face like super, super aggressive bot lanes, it's going to be really nice to be able to get to that mid game, high kill potential. And there we go, some of the champs we were talking about, even though they were trying to distract maybe with the hover on LeBlanc, the Ahri that we also mentioned, such a deadly pairing on this patch, especially with the Vi.
Yeah, the mind game's not going to work out there. As you can see, the K'Sante and Poppy banned out by LNG here in the second half. So no K'Sante versus Renekton top lane staple matchup that appears all the time everywhere. Rakan also going to be banned away here. They're trying to respect further investment into that full-on dive comp. Seeing the 3 options already locked in on LNG, they'll get rid of it. But LNG are not asleep at the wheel. There's plenty of other good options for engage and dive here in the support role, and Rell is one of those.
Yeah, very strong, but also just waiting to see exactly where Smolder is going to go, because there's still some windows where you can send a top lane for Kingen if you want to. I don't think it's great into the Renekton, but at least you get to see that maybe there's an opportunity to bring out something like an Orianna instead of going for the LeBlanc, because with the options that you have with the Rell engage and then that Vi setup as well, there is some windows to just burst out a Smolder or a Ziggs in this later portion of the game with that Orianna combo.
All right, the Alistar locked in. This is a pretty standard response, I think, to Rell because of how easy it is to use the headbutt, knock the champion away when she tries to go for the crash down. It limits her engage options, makes her have to play around different angles. We'll see what they want to go ahead and round this draft out with now. Still need to see this one last pick from DK. What's it going to be? Hovering a couple of different things. Back and forth, back and forth.
Okay.
The Olaf locked in.
Oh, baby, I love it. Whenever you see, like lots of CC to be able to ignore, it looks like a good Olaf angle, and you've got like the AP bombs coming over the top of your head to kind of support your movement forward too.
The Sylas, though, locked in for scouting the opposite side. This is kind of sick, because you look at, oh, well, I got the Alistar, which is just a great ultimate for the Sylas to take. Even the invulnerability now coming through from CC on the Olaf can work out perfectly. And in dire situations, you still got Bomb, you still got a Ziggs Bomb. These are great ultimates for Sylas to steal.
Oh yeah, Alistar ultimate is historically the best ulti for Sylas to take. Whenever Alistar is overwhelming in the meta with his presence, Sylas becomes an answer because of how powerful he is with the Unbreakable Will. I love seeing how fast they are ready to slam this pick in, because they're also slamming it in against ShowMaker, who is the only Sylas so far played in the tournament.
Yeah, Scout says, if you can do it, I can do it too. Really juicy ults to steal, as both of you have already talked about, that just further complement the theme that they already had going with the entire draft being mega dive. Now you add the Sylas multiple options.
For nothing else right now as we're into game one in this first series to determine the first team to punch their ticket to Paris and the quarterfinals.
And holy moly, we may not get a lane swap. Thank the Lord.
Yeah!
So done with them.
That's a dub already.
All right, we're already winning, boys. We are already winning. As we're taking a look at what everybody's doing here at the start, pretty standard stuff.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, the reason why it's such a dub for me in this game to not have a lane swap is like, we're going to get some really brawly lanes. Especially as a jungler, you love to see volatile lanes because you get options for where to go influence. Olaf versus Renekton on top side will be very volatile. They're threatening some very fun level 1 stuff here, both Sylas and Rell possibilities of jumping over the wall, but they do not go for it. Ward in the tri-brush there.
Oh, crash down. Hung just couldn't get not a whole lot more than that, really. Moham and aiming, still just trying to get back away from this one. Gala and Hung still continuing to push forward, dropping the ignite, forcing aiming to flash back away to the safety of the tier 1 turret.
Now, aiming still has his teleport, so he should be able to kind of catch these waves and TP back into lane, but he does want to wait until he at least kind of works up towards something like a tier to get that reset, so trying to force him out early to deny that quick reset is working out well for LNG if they can try and get him out.
Yeah, it's really big here for LNG to take advantage of the Alistar Ziggs lane at level 1, take away that flash, take away any big possibilities there. Now, like, Gala and Hung are going to have a really, really nice free time, even though their jungler is pathing away from them. Both junglers are pathing towards the top side, towards that really volatile matchup that we're all looking forward to, the Olaf Renekton on the top side. So you got to expect the junglers will definitely intervene very early up there. Meanwhile, of course, that Sylas getting pushed in early by ShowMaker, so nothing to see there. We will, of course, also be keeping track of ShowMaker's stacks on this.
As you have to.
You have to, especially because it's a melee matchup, and so you should be getting a lot of stacks very early on the Smolder.
But this is the surprising thing to me. If you were to tell me that these two players were coming into the day's matchup, I thought these two champions would be flipped. I thought ShowMaker would want to avoid the AD carries because it wasn't really his wheelhouse for the entirety of summer. Whereas for Scout, he was bringing out the Tristanas and looking good on things like the Lucian. So I'm kind of surprised to see ShowMaker be the one that's bringing out the Smolder. But the LCK has had great showings on this Smolder pick, so not surprised to see it brought out fully.
All right, Kobe, you said you were expecting junglers here in the top side for the volatile matchup. Zika jumping forward, trying to lock up Kingen here, flashes in for the Ruthless Predator, and WeiWei is there. Vault Breaker, playmaker, first blood over to Zika.
I love that. Anytime you see those volatile melee matchups, and the Olaf pushing in early, of course, so Zika with the flash punishes so nicely there. WeiWei able to get the Vault Breaker across, such a good setup, and dropping your top 2 camps there, you know, he doesn't have to fully finish off. It's really important for junglers to recognize wave state, and because of the matchup, and it's just an Olaf with Ghost, so it should be an easy stun setup. It's just nice to see like the versatility here to be able to react to the current wave state, and really nice punish.
Especially because DK had already spotted out with that ward on Raptors where WeiWei was. I think they just thought, oh, he's going for a full clear.
Yeah.
I can crash this wave and get back, but WeiWei kind of catching them off guard, getting that early kill, going to help out massively for Zika.
Yeah, everybody always highlights like efficiency for junglers and like, oh, you need to full clear, you need to full clear. But that's a lot like solo queue where you can't rely so much on your teammates. And in this case, really good diversion there. So we'll see about the other side of the map as well. As you're going to have the cross WeiWei, of course, going all the way to the bottom to get the bottom scuttle crab as well before fully recalling.
Yeah, and you can see DK ready to crash this wave here into the bottom lane. Tier 1 turret. Hung and Gala should just be able to farm this up. No big problem. LNG still just enjoying the gold advantage from the first blood, but not really anything more, so there's no huge lane advantages popping up anywhere for any of the just matchups that you would expect them to be coming up from.
Yeah, I just want to see how the timing here is going to go for WeiWei, because you're down on this bottom side. You could immediately go for Dragon is Hung. Should you interrupt the reset? Yeah, nice here from Moham. The Ziggs.
Oh,
the
he
Ignite
wanted to use the Ignite to cancel the reset, but it wasn't fast enough. It got him during that last quarter second. So aiming still manages to get his recall, and now that's Summoner down for Hung.
And I think that was where they could have tried to look for some sort of pressure on towards push at the wave, maybe try and get an early reset, move up towards Void Grubs. But now that Aiming's back in the lane, he's going to be able to keep up this pressure. Gala's just a reset down. So trying to move up towards an early Void Grubs is going to be really tough for LNG now.
Other thing I'm looking at that's kind of tough for LNG, Scout has already used his teleport, and so always, you know, on Sylas, you're kind of like trading your health, trying to keep up enough CS and trying to stay in lane, but so much pressure from ShowMaker here, just spitting out fireball after fireball. They do force Scout back, and that is going to turn into, hey, there's no teleport on Scout, I've got the advantage here in mid lane, pushed him in, chunked him out, we should be able to grab this dragon.
He crashed down there on the Moham, but he's not a whole lot more worried about it than just that. He can walk that away as the rest of his team is continuing to just pick this Drake up. Bottom lane's job is to make sure that the enemy bottom lane doesn't rotate over, try to cause any trouble, and that's not going to go down. So Lucid can finish picking this one up, no problem should be.
WeiWei's starting to get a little bit of an advantage for himself, though, because he's moved into DK's top side, stealing away the Grump. I imagine could move over towards the Wolves or just immediately move back over towards the Void Grubs, which is what he's going to do with Sylas actually getting that push now that Scout has come back into lane, and Zika doing a good job of controlling Kingen. So it is going to be a trade, but even just the camp starting to tick over in favor of WeiWei.
Ooh, wow, Scout going in, looking for a little bit more on Lucid, but takes him down to 250, has to back away.
Yeah, and that's a really good, honestly, scouting play for him, where he's not really looking for the kill there. He's looking to make sure that there is no possible contest on these Void Grubs.
Yep.
No, nice early use of the ultimate, get a big chunk onto the Maokai, make sure that DK are not going to have an option, because, you know, they did have a really early timing on the first dragon, so there was possibilities here, especially with, you know, Moham reset here, and they are swapping up to the top side for DK with their duo lane, but already, because of that play, LNG secure their grubs.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's unusual to swap Aiming and Moham up now, because yes, you can try and get some turret plate damage, or at least try and opt out of the matchup, but oh, Zika actually can knock back a bit, but
yeah, he's fine.
This wave should still be picked up by Zika. He's going to be relatively okay. You can even see the rotation coming through from Hung and WeiWei just to make sure he's going to be fine on this, but you're just leaving Gala now to get free time.
All right, LNG's bringing in some backup. Vaultbreaker getting charged. Flash engage comes out from Hung, and they're immediately just trying to chop down that tree. Lucid gets away with 200 HP as Zika tries to keep everybody else locked up with a disengage coming out from Moham. Knocks him back into the river. The big bomb coming in from the Ziggs. Aiming needs one more shot, and Lucid's going to get the kill credit. DK 1-0 in the scrap.
LNG tossed everything into the tree, but they couldn't chop it down. You didn't have the damage to follow through, and Zika just gets mowed down by Aiming and Moham in the mix.
Yeah, that was really good peel. Turnaround. Lucid does not panic as they jump on him, immediately able to disengage and throw out his Maokai ultimate, and Aiming plus Moham keeping them at arm's length, allowing them to take down the extra kill for them. This one already spicy, boys, but very glad that is evened up as well. The only thing we're still a little bit worried about here, ShowMaker's been stacking up quite nicely on that Smolder, so we will check back in on the mid lane. We'll see if Scout is able to pull off any really big plays on any steal away ults.
Also, I'm not sure what happened in the bot side. Gala ended up losing out about 10 CS there as well. Was even going into it, but wasn't quite able to finish it out. So Kingen didn't burn Ghost or anything, but was watching top side. So nice job at least by Kingen to deny some of that CS away from Gala and put him behind as well.
All right, 12.7 to 13.6 thousand gold, 1K up for an LNG squad that also owns the first 3 Void Grubs. 2 minutes until that second set spawns. And honestly, the second Drake only being slightly mistimed with that means we could have something interesting go down, but most likely probably just a handshake trade on the objectives.
Yeah, I think this is where we're probably going to see a little bit more interaction between WeiWei and Scout, because even if you can just get that ultimate from WeiWei immediately on towards ShowMaker, you can burst them out or start to burn some summoner spells. So getting those summoner spells out before a big dragon or a void grove fight are going to be really crucial. And when Scout has again just been such a strong focal point for this team, trying to get those resources onto him has always boded well for LNG.
Yeah, and then of course Gala, they're looking at trying to scale this Kaisa. He has the call, really trying to make sure that he will be able to cash in, get to his couple item breakpoints. And that's where your dive comp really excels, is once you're able to bring the Kaisa over to a lot of those skirmishes. Until then, like you're saying, you're going to see some of those WeiWei Scout combos, see if they can get some skirmishes, some engages, pick people off as they're rotating between objectives, and we really get to live in that melee brawl world.
Just about to hit 10 minutes on the clock here as Gala and Hung head back down into this bottom lane. You can see their opponents are up slightly in terms of the gold. It is a plus 20 farm lead for aiming on the Ziggs. This is a pick that has been banned a ton so far at Worlds 2024 in the main stage. Second highest ban rate overall. The fact that it went through this one, a little bit surprising. But when we look back at the draft, a big reason for that is a lot of targeted bans. We talked about how DK was aiming at all the stuff that LNG used to beat BLG. So when those specific strategies come out, the more general OPs get through. So I'm very curious to see what aiming can accomplish with this pick as we go forward.
And of course, aiming, has been very consistent for them. As we see a 4-person move towards top.
All right, we got the big play. The dive coming in from DK, and Zika's about to drop. He stays alive for an extra second, but it is not long enough. But now the Maokai ulti coming out, stolen away by Scout, but it will not matter as everybody on DK exits stage left.
And they fully commit to this. They're like, second spawn of grubs, we're going to send everybody up to go for the tower dive first, but now the chase.
The immediate counterattack coming out from LNG with a Vi ulti into the follow-up from Scout. They take down Moham, but a teleport arrives, and Kingen is ready to tear through on a rampage. He chases Hung down, but Hung gets back over the wall as Lucid has to try to escape back into the mid lane. It's a 3-man chase from LNG. They won't get a kill, but the enemy jungler now so critically low on HP, and LNG are heading back up into this topside river. They claimed one of the second set of grubs, but there's still 2 to go, and nobody from DK to contest.
And even though DK, quote-unquote, successfully get their dive, this is so massive for LNG. They got so much money onto Gala. Gala had just been farming on the bottom side, and they're still able to get their chase down counter kill. They're still able to get their grubs. Can they finish the last one?
Oh, no, they will not. Stolen away. How now, Mr. Cow? WeiWei stuck in the pit, and he ain't getting out. It's the final grub plus a kill of a DK.
I can't believe the cow is the one that steals it in all of that one. Incredible from DK, because I was looking at LNG going, oh, this is such a sick timing window. The reset came through from Kingen. We have the numbers advantage before the TP can come in. Let's take the fight. But then they're like patting each other on the back, and they think they've done it, and suddenly DK come back.
Yeah, it was so big. And look at the mini-map as this play starts. Gala's on bottom, farming. He's doing damage to the tower, so that will be consistent for this entire time. And LNG, as they get their chase out here, key that ShowMaker popped Mohan's ult there. He was able to force it out with his Maokai ult, and then WeiWei says, I'll follow up. Scout had gotten the early ult down on Mohan, and so then WeiWei followed up. They got that one, and because you saw the smite used on that grub, he's not going to have his next smite charge available for the final grub. As you know, stolen away by the cow. Really fun action so far.
All right, as we get back to live, turrets are collapsing in bottom and top lane both, as LNG grabs the first down in the bottom lane, immediately responded by DK, though, up there in the top side, using the power of the Ziggs and the Satchel to make sure that they can force that one down as well. As you can see, the second Drake also get taken.
This is an awkward spot now for DK, though, because you can rotate Gala up and still have a tower you can threaten on top side. You're in position to fight for Rift Herald, but Amin, I think, kind of has to open mid or top here, because he still needs to try and match Gala, but can't really threaten that bot lane turret and still be being position for this upcoming Rift Tower because his TP isn't available. So DK kind of a step behind when it comes towards how they want to operate on the map right now.
Man, we are 15 seconds away from Rift Herald spawning with, what, 500 gold separating the teams. Couple of good moves early on from both sides. Drake's tied at 1-1. The early game from the first game of this BO3 has delivered so far.
Massively so. And this is, again, I just want to see more scrapping. Like, this is such a fun compositions on both sides to see exactly how you can try and come away with this. But LNG, a bit late in the resets. WeiWei only now starting to come out of base. Means DK get to set up nicely in river, and the push in mid is fairly simple with aiming opening up there.
Okay. Let's see if we get a whole lot of trading back and forth here with just some of the poke tools being used. Gala firing off the Void Seeker, but bouncing bomb's not going to connect in response. MasterCard Lane Economy snapshot showing you that, yes, it's a bit of a gold lead for Kingen, but all of the other gold leads going the opposite direction. Down here in the bottom lane, though, 1v1 between our ulting top laners. Zika trying to wait for those cooldowns to come back. He doesn't want to stand there and fight the Olaf. Auto attack v auto attack. Zika looking to chase him down now. A little bit more is all he needs. Run, Kingen, run! Zika with the solo kill.
Zika played that so well. He jumped into the minions, got the last auto attack for his Fury build-up, and then got that massive heal from both hitting the champion and all those creeps at the same time. Now gets to push in on bot. Could even look for a quick reset now that he hits 11 and teleport back in as it's about to come off cooldown. Oh, where's Scout off to?
Okay, oh wait, Gala, very low on HP, down to 150, having to try to get away from this with a killer instinct. Last bouncing bomb ain't gonna hit him. The AD carry from LNG staying alive as Moham has already used the ultimate. The Unbreakable Will no longer available. Counterattack coming out from LNG now as Moham has to try to get away. Another stolen Maokai ulti. They go in, and LNG finds themselves another kill. They get everybody right on back out, and the scrap continues.
Sick Vi ultimate there from WeiWei as Moham trying to headbutt him away. They get their kill again. Cow down. LNG punish that dive attempt.
And LNG just caught DK off completely. Scout TP'd from that top side of the Rift Herald pit down to where DK's Raptors are to come in and find Moham off kilter. So LNG doing some really fancy stuff here and getting that kill back when I thought it was Gala who was going to die.
And guess what? We're going to see a lot more of Gala on our screen pretty soon. He has been farming up a storm and is very close to the Rage Blade. The Static Shiv obviously helps a lot for holding mid lane when you're trying to deal with so much Ziggs push. It sometimes can be really hard, but Static Shiv does a lot, and then really nice ultimate and some jukes from him to keep himself alive. But once the Rage Blade is done, then you get to see Gala going way more offensive with it. And LNG, they have so many tools to start up these fights.
Well, how about this, Kobe? We got the Rift Herald still alive on the map, and in a minute and a half, we also have another Drake spawning. So I think there'll be plenty of reasons for that Rage Blade Kaisa to get himself involved in a little bit of PvP. LNG now up 2,500 gold, 2.5 minutes after we were saying that it's less than 500, separating the two squads. However, that's going to be assisted here a little bit for the other side as DK manages to grab yet another turret thanks to the Ziggs satchel here in the mid lane.
And as long as Aiming can keep up this threat on Gala as well, DK just owned the mid lane, which makes it very easy to start to drift across these objectives. So at the moment, DK playing a very calculated game on how they want to open up and making things a little difficult for LNG, despite the gold lead that they have.
And Aiming himself, has been so good for DK, both on, the traditional carries that you expect from him, like the Zeri and stuff, but him really incorporating the Ziggs so heavily in regional finals, and now being able to steal it away and pull it out here could be the big difference maker. That big AoE on the item spikes here might be amazing. Regardless, though, is going to be Rift Herald picked up, and Kingen.
Ooh, yeah, Kingen trying to get himself away. Zika's going to stop the back. Kingen knows that the only way this works out okay is if he takes somebody with him. He cannot escape there. He tries to put the damage in, but it is not enough. LNG pick up another.
This counter pick is not working out at all for LNG, or for DK there, by the way, for Kingen. I mean, just think of the beginning of the game, the setup on the gank, then he also got the solo kill, then his team arrives here. It has just been
Whoa.
All Zika all day, and now
we got some more problems for Moham and for DK as Scout is ready to jump in after him. Stolen Alistar ulti means he's totally unafraid of any sort of a counterattack. Hung now just also continuing to try to chase this. Scout got knocked back over the wall. He misses the abscond ducked, but Void Seeker from all the way in mid lane. Gala's the one getting the paycheck.
Man, Scout is way more brave than I am. Because I was looking like WeiWei's on bot side. There's no way they're ever going to go in. And Scout just bops himself into the middle of 3 members of DK. It's like, I got this, it's fine. But it worked out. So great call on the bluff.
I mean, that's the power, though, of Alistar on the enemy team. As soon as you see Alistar, you just take his ultimate. Okay, I'm Trindamere for the next 8 seconds. Sure, I'm not going to die. 1v3, I think they're going to need 2 more if they want to try to kill him.
yeah. Now I'm Alistar with damage.
Yeah. Now it's scary. All right, nice stuff from LNG here so far in game number 1. We've got another Drake secured for them. We've got 50 seconds until Baron rears his head on the map. Yes, it is an LNG lead, but I'm not exactly expecting a 20-minute Baron attempt or anything of the like unless we get another big explosive fight beforehand that really decidedly goes one way.
Yeah, much more looking for LNG to try and set up their vision so they can get a really good dive fight that is not having to go under towers. You know, it's a pretty good defense available mid lane here for DK. Their mid lane tower is still very healthy. They still have their flash on ShowMaker, flash on aiming, and those are the 2 that you're really looking at, those critical summoner spells on DK, that if those get blown early, it's kind of step 1, and then step 2 for LNG, just the full send on their dive. So ShowMaker and aiming right now have been doing very well, even though they're in the gold deficit. It's mostly in...
Oh, Scout.
Oh, hold on now. TP coming in for LNG. Scout might be a little bit too far forward. Seals away the Maokai ulti, which means he doesn't have the tankiness from the Alistar that he would like to have. Scout jumping back into the Baron pit, flashing back over the wall, barely staying alive. Mom roars in. Scout steps to the left. He lives. He walks away for now. But that was audacious from the LNG mid laner.
Yeah, I did not expect that one to be going the way of Scout. I thought he was going to fall there way too deep and very little vision. And now he got Rick Charles, but...
Well, we're doing it again.
TP blank.
We're doing it again. This time, it's the Crocodile. Moham trying to get away from Hung off to the side. Zika does not want to just jump in there with 2/3 HP. Gala's also removing the Rift Herald from the Tier 2 turret at the same time.
So you don't actually get the Tier 2 tower off the charge because of that play. Everyone backs away to respect Zika. So it kind of works out weirdly for LNG in that one. But the other one is DK now need to move down to this bottom side because this 1-4 setup that they've been using with Kingen on the side lane and trying to use ShowMaker with aiming to threaten the Tier 2 tower has kind of netted this opportunity for LNG to continuously push inside with the stronger 1-3-1 setup.
ShowMaker on the Smolder, currently sitting at 167 stacks. That's honestly, gentlemen, not a lot for this point in the game. He's still going to need a couple of more minutes to hit that 225 sweet spot, as now LNG might have themselves another opportunity out of play. They will not be able to catch out that enemy Alistar, but aiming's in a lot of trouble. Flash for the Ruthless Predator, and Gala's on a killing spree. TP arrives too late from DK to do anything about it. With the enemy Ziggs down, with his flash blown, it's problems for DK. Beautiful engage coming out from Hung as LNG follows up, and a Void Seeker finds the heart of Moham. DK just collapsed, and LNG hit him right in the ribcage.
And that's going to be a Baron as well on top. The cherry on top of those 2 plays for LNG. They're going to blow this game wide open with Baron buff and the 5 grubs. They should actually be able to take a ton of towers.
I mean, I just heard the words fatality off the back of that one. LNG, that was really the punch that they needed to make things happen. And a great engage off the back from Hung as well, because this is a guy who has been criticized quite a lot in LNG for just not having the best of moments, but when this guy has his high highs, he is such a strong support, and you get to see it with the engage off the back here.
And this one, you see, hitting the Void Seeker, Gala immediately right in there, and Zika again, another big play from him, being able to get this first kill. But then it's really the second one that you're kind of highlighting, and it is that re-engage, even under tower. He goes straight for it. Hung's able to get the lockup. And there's no real threat that's going to force them off because Olaf is top lane pushing out. So LNG are like, whoa, you are stepping up. Even under your tower is a little bit too close to us.
Too far forward, man.
Yeah, you can even see like the Alistar ult was stolen again. It was like, we can tank this for days. We're going to be fine going underneath this tower. So DK now very firmly on the back foot with very little control. You're more than likely going to have this top tower be the main focus for LNG to push out, and then start to set up a ton of vision in the enemy jungle. You can already see it existing on the bottom side of your screen, or bottom side of the map, but I think this is where LNG, this 1-3-1, is going to be such a threat for DK.
We're at Worlds. We get to see some Gala Kaisa sniping already. His 3-item power spike with a full dive team right in front of him. This one looks like, unless DK pull out some crazy magic, it is going to be very, very difficult for them to pull game number 1 back at least. Thankfully, we are into the best of portion of Swiss stage though, so definitely will have some more opportunities for DK.
But also, I think it kind of just setting up a very strong point for LNG to say, hang on, no, we are a force to be reckoned with at Worlds. Because I think a lot of people coming in were talking about, hey, you know, there is the top esports, the BLG from the LPL, and then there's that drop down to LNG, but they've been looking absolutely spectacular, both in this game so far and also in the game yesterday against BLG. So realistically, I think our LNG have come in and said, no, you have to look at us now at this Worlds caliber and say we are a real contender for those top spots.
I mean, when you're playing like this, you just demand respect, right? Like, we're talking about 3 players who are all still deathless nearly 25 minutes into the game. We're talking about a Renekton that you guys already touched on it. Yeah, we've got an Olaf counter pick that countered nothing. So there's not really a whole lot going on here. And even in the jungle, 0, 1, and 5 for WeiWei been critical for setting up a lot of these plays, as LNG going to take out that tier 2 turret back in the mid lane. 9-3 kill advantage, 5-3 turret advantage, 8,000 gold ahead. They've still got Baron for another 15 seconds. They're going to use it to try to force the play onto the tier 2 turret top, but DK holds the line for now.
Yeah, and the Renekton that you mentioned with the over 2,000 gold lead, by the way, against that counter pick, is hitting inhibitor tower right now. So being unanswered, the Ziggs bomb tries to push him off. The minions were still empowered by the Baron though, so they didn't all die down there either. And the Renekton pressure is going to be relentless while the rest of the team...
Yeah, there's not a whole lot left to Lucid here in the top side jungle. As long as they have the tier 2, it ain't gonna matter now, but hold on, Gala and WeiWei are gonna keep pushing the issue further forward. Over the wall, the abscond of Duck doesn't catch anybody else, and Scout and Hung gotta try to get back away. Zika showing up for the reinforcements, but Kingen already takes Hung out of the picture. Zika fighting 1v3 on the front line, but he has to disengage back into the jungle now. Here to the rest of the team, LNG. They are smelling blood in the water, but DK wants to stay the hell out of the pool.
DK retreated to the castle. They drew up the drawbridge and were like, no, you don't get in here. So LNG, this quad melee composition, couldn't get over the wall, and they're just getting free hit the entire time. So DK get to hold on for the moment. They'll get some go back, but LNG still continue to rock them.
Yeah, they hold on for the moment. So we'll see how long that continues, because they absolutely deleted Lucid here. And then, yeah, they go a little bit deep and give 1 back, but still are going to be able to return to their same pressure. Can't get over that wall. They take a lot of damage on the way out because of the Ziggs and the harassment from the Smolder. You know, DK, the Smolder is something we should touch on as far as, you know, these comeback hopes, even though the comeback is going to be difficult. ShowMaker continued stacking up in 241, so, you know, pretty close, pretty nice there for him, as well as the double item power spike starting to come in. It's really when you finally get your rapid fire, though, and you get the extra range, that those hopes will really start to bloom.
I do think we've seen a difference in the way DK have approached the Smolder, though, when we look at like Chovy or someone else who picked it up, because it has very much been a case of, hey, we are sending you to a side lane, you are picking up every stack that you possibly can, whereas oftentimes you've actually seen ShowMaker grouped with the team like this. He doesn't go off to a side lane, and I think a lot of that has been trying to hard force onto a mid lane play, but it does mean that the stacks have been hurt as a result, so this Smolder hasn't really come online as quickly as you'd like to, and LNG now are getting to play through that fact and really bully with the gold lead that they have.
Yeah, the control that LNG have now over this game 1, 27.5 minutes in, cannot be understated. Baron spawns in about 45 seconds, and then another 45 after that. You've got what will be the Soul Drake for LNG also going to spawn. Yes, it's a Kim Soul. That's usually not the one that you would want, but it is just extra power built in. It is more to just just push you over the line, get you to that Nexus, and get you to the next game. LNG focused on the top side river, though, with Baron being that objective spawning sooner, as Lucid and Moham gotta be careful, man. They are so far behind. One misstep, one face check that you shouldn't have checked is instant lights out.
Oh, hang on, no.
Yeah, never mind. Fight starting off. WeiWei jumping to the back immediately, going after aiming. Who has a flashback over the wall, trying to stay safe as WeiWei's going to get bursted down by Mom, but the Sterex keeping him alive for an extra second. ShowMaker grabbing the kill on that one as Kingen is scrapping and fighting back against LNG. Zika has to try to get away, staying alive with a Sterex of his own as Gala's going to be taken down to 1/3 HP, and he's going to continue retreating back to his own jungle. LNG have lost a man and killed no one on DK. DK standing strong, starting up the Baron, but LNG is still here. Scout looking for the opportunity to go back in. He steals the Alistar ulti away, and now he's jumping in on top of Lucid. Kill the jungler, kill the Baron. It's that easy. Moham trying to get back away now as well as Zika wants to go in for a pincer attack, but Gala with a beautiful shot takes out the enemy support. Jungle and support on DK down. LNG still in the driver's seat.
DK got a little too hyped on their comeback potential there. They're like, ShowMaker hit 250. Oh, we can go, we got some kills. But way too much to go over towards Baron, and then Scout able to use the stolen Alistar ultimate and another snipe from Gala.
But this was such a sick turnaround for Moham, because I want to watch as the engage comes through here, flashing in to interrupt Hong, making sure that Hong can't get that big crash down, then sets up for DK to play in this choke point. Gala can't step forward because there's so many things that are just being tossed his direction, and that's that slow fight then playing through Kingen on this ulti and Olaf to tear through LNG. But right as you called it, Kobe, it's Scout going, hang on a second, there's a cow still here and I have ultimate available. So he just immediately goes, thank you very much, I'll take that. Lucid, you're first to fall. And even watching Zika again, putting pressure on towards aiming, means that he doesn't really have a position to try and follow up, despite how low Scout goes off the back of this, and guns out, cow's gone, and it's another team fight victory for LNG.
2 Void Seekers in a row from Gala right onto the Alistar. That Alistar was actually more of a help to LNG. Stolen ultimate and then kill him off with a couple of snipes there. Really nicely done from LNG to kind of stabilize what was possibly the first step in a big DK comeback. So I think DK, though, they're still looking at that defense. It is very difficult when you're facing a team like this that has so much dive potential. As you can see, a really good toggle of vision here by the observers, but you're gonna have to expose yourself if you want to keep them off of this Baron, and so they slowly move up, trying to use the Maokai sapling temporary vision for themselves.
Well, the Baron might not have got claimed, but with the Dragon Soul now in the possession of LNG, their combat power is that much more intense. We're already talking about how powerful Scout is with this stolen Alistar ultimate. Now in below half, he's going to have even more of that damage resistance, even more threat. It's so scary for DK at this point, with the topside river being totally controlled by LNG, sitting on the control wards, waiting for their opportunity to go in. Scout immediately stealing away the Maokai ulti.
But I do think DK have read the situation well. LNG need Baron to close out this game. Against ShowMaker, against aiming, these waves are never getting close to a tower that you can actually take, especially with 4 melee members and a Kaisa. That tower does not get tickled, so this is why LNG are starting it up. They need this objective.
Kaisa with a death cap too. I'm very scared of that thing.
Okay, let's see. Is DK also scared of an LNG looking to force down the Baron? WeiWei loses his, was that the Sterex? No, never mind, that was just Allied Shield. Okay, I was worried there for a second. We're doing good here for LNG as they are now up just shy of 10,000 gold. They've got the Baron secured. Dagda, you already pointed it out. This thing is imperative for ending the game. So these next 2 minutes and 40 seconds from LNG need to get some work done.
I think they should be able to do that too. We mentioned the death cap here. That's going to mean that, oh, we're so scared of this rapid fire Smolder. Not. Actually, our poke is insane too, with the Kaisa poke that can come out. So it really transforms from like, oh, full dive comp LNG to just, hey, we have a lot of options to punish you if you go anywhere, else on the map that's not under your towers, but we also have some poke options ourselves here.
Man, LNG is just totally in control of the whole enemy jungle now. It is dark in there if you are playing from the DK side. Scout's just going to shoot off that Maokai ulti that was stolen earlier, use it to help get this wave shoved up. They still want to pressure so many different points at once. You can see Zika up in the top lane looking to take care of the last couple of hits onto that tier 2 they couldn't grab earlier, so now that one's out of the picture. They'll try to pressure 3 different lanes at once. Scout using his TP to rejoin back with the rest of the team as Kingen versus Zika, the 1v1 on the top side, while the remaining 4 players of either team fight over the tier 3 turret back in the mid lane. Zika continuing to try to shove as LNG's wave is cleared out back in mid.
Yeah, all you're looking for is LNGs to try to land this poke as Gala, see if you can try and force someone off. Now you do have the Banshee's Veil complete for aiming, which makes it a bit tough, but trying to dive could be a bit scary because ShowMaker has that Seeker's arm card, but Kingen feeling rough now after a great combo from Zika.
Yep. Kingen not loving this situation as the tier 3 turret's going to be killed in both top and mid lane at the same time. Zika pops the Dominus, looks to rotate over to the greater fight. They're going to lock up Moham here at the very start as Scout steals away the Unbreakable Will. He's so tanky there on the front line. Mega Inferno Bomb doesn't do a thing. Mid lane inhibitor down, top lane inhibitor exposed. LNG still doing just fine as DK scramble to try to defend.
And they're teleporting right back in.
Gala jumps in with a killer instinct. He wanted to go after ShowMaker, but he ain't going to find him. He stays alive with the extra bit of time from the stasis. Kingen's on the front trying to hold these guys off, putting a couple of hits into Hung, but it ain't gonna matter. Scout steals away another Maokai ulti. LNG with 2 inhibitors down on the enemy squad. Continue to push forward. Moham barely stays alive. WeiWei getting himself back into the fight. He's trying to stay alive, but it ain't gonna work out. It's 2 down to the side of LNG. But Zika, Scout, and Gala are still pushing. The minions are finally gonna get cleared away, and DK's looking for a little bit of extra punish, but they ain't gonna find anything here just yet. The game goes on.
That last auto attack from the cannon minion though gets one of the Nexus turrets. Scout, is he finished yet though? Still hovering around, considering since he has that Ziggs ult that he could do some serious damage, but LNG routed, they are pushed back, but every single time they come knocking at this castle, more and more of these structures are falling.
And more LNG convincing us of their dominance in game number 1. They still have the Dragon Soul. They've got 2 inhibitors down, so it should be an easy repeat here. With the extra pressure of 2 inhibitors down, that Elder Dragon that's about to spawn, as we will go back to live shortly, is going to be pretty easy for them to set up a dangerous situation for DK. But here is that defense that you were going over. WeiWei had another good Vi ultimate there, even as they were trying to disengage him to make sure they could get that kill, but they still get the chase off. DK defend for now, and so we'll go back to live and see about the setup for that Elder Dragon that's going to spawn. They have to deal with double lines of super minions, plus the big gold deficit, plus no vision leading up to that area of the map. So only 13 seconds on the clock. LNG should be able to set up like a death trap here, leading over to the big objective, and DK gonna have to pull out some magic again if they want to stay in this one.
Because it's definitely not scary to face check a Vi, Sylas, Renekton.
No, not even a little.
Yeah, no,
not.
it's fine. Yeah, easy. Easy as you like, you know?
It's such a scary place to be, man, because when the Elder is up, you know if you give it away, you instantly lose. But if you face check a brush on the way there, you also instantly lose. DK trying to take the long way around, wrap up from the bottom lane. They shoot Mom out just because they think, what if LNG is already on the objective? They weren't, but now the Smolder ulti no longer being available for the upcoming fight puts DK at yet another disadvantage. Zika still hanging around and waiting. It's WeiWei and Gala DPSing the Elder just by themselves as a 2-man unit, as Hung's gonna run interference, looking to keep everybody else away with a crash down to the Magnet Storm. Zika's ready to follow it up. They got the Elder, and they're looking to tear through DK. The remaining 4 players trying to get out, but it ain't gonna matter. Scout's got an Unbreakable Will, and LNG's got Unbreakable Lines. Moham will be the next to die as a double kill for Gala will seal their fate. Scout goes on a rampage. 1 goes back, but it will not matter. Ace for 1. Game 1 is going the way of LNG. They'll push down that last Nexus turret. They'll make a statement 18-8, and LNG is up 1-0 in the first promo series of the quarterfinals.
Scout, deathless. Gala, deathless. LNG on top, 0-1 in their favor, taking the game number 1.
DK speechless. That was an incredible performance from LNG. The fact that they were able to control so much of it, even when DK tried to put threat on them, but it was just next to nothing.
Beautifully, beautifully done by LNG in this first best of 3 that we're getting to see here in the Swiss stage. They are fighting, man. They are ferocious. This team is so fun to watch.
Certainly is. I mean, ShowMaker, even with the Magi, or Scout, even with the Magi's there, keeping that one alive, keeping it stacked up. Very exciting game number 1.
Yeah, I think especially when you're looking at, like, I think we need to go back to the drawing board for ShowMaker. I don't think the Smolder was it, but I'm very excited to see what they come back out with when they go towards their style.
Yeah, I would love to see ShowMaker on something that can make some more plays, right? Smolder's great for scaling, like you're talking about. You know, you got to get him to those stack points, though. You got to make sure you're giving him too many resources. He can't just walk up to the fight and abandon farming, since it's the whole point of the character. And LNG did a great job playing around it. We're going to be back for game number 2 here.